Caitlin Clark is everywhere. She's on billboards, she's in memes. She's on highlight reels dropping 35-foot daggers like it's casual. People think they know her. Trash talker, scorer, confidence machine. But that's the version filtered through ESPN clips and social media algorithms. Because the real Caitlin Clark, she's not built for flash. She's built for control. And her lifestyle, the part you never see, is the reason why.
I never want to stop being coached. I never want to stop being told what's right, what's wrong, no matter how good I play, how bad I play. Like, there's always things to learn, things to get better at, and that's what I love about her is she holds me to a very high standard, and yeah, she's going to get on me because she knows there's still areas for me to improve, and, you know, this team relies on me a lot, whether it's emotionally or to score or to bring the energy, and I think that's just always something that, you know, she holds me to a high standard in that regard, and that's something I really appreciate.
That's not something you say for the cameras. That's something that's been echoing in your head since childhood. And the version of Caitlin we see today, cool under pressure, cold-blooded from the logo, is the product of a very specific environment. A household that didn't just allow pressure, it trained her to crave it. And once you understand how she was raised, how she prepared, and how she lives, you'll realize that everything about her public image barely scratches the surface. Caitlin Clark didn't grow up in a household where pressure was avoided. She grew up in one where it was normal, expected, and encouraged. Her family didn't teach her to run from it. They trained her to chase it. Her dad, Brent, was a multi-sport college athlete. Her older brother, Blake, played Division I football. And her younger brother, Colin, he got caught in the crossfire of her obsession with winning.
All I wanted to do was win, no matter if it was a board game, a card game, really anything. Like, I just was going to do whatever it took to win. I got kicked out of PE class because I was so competitive.
That wasn't a phase. That was a warning sign. And it only got louder. There's one story her family still laughs about, but at the time it was anything but funny.
It was a snow day, so we didn't have school, so we were hanging out in the basement. I literally got so mad. I think he had just scored on me. He literally grabbed him with two hands and just launched him into the wall, and he just put his hand back and went like this, and he's like, "Mom," because his hand was just full of blood.
That was Colin, her younger brother. Occasional opponent, emergency contact. But Caitlin wasn't raised to hold back. She was raised to compete, and that didn't stop at family games or driveway 1 versus 1.
I played with the boys, honestly, I think until about 6th grade, which is probably a lot longer than most girls. I think it kind of taught me, you know, if you want to play, you gotta have to hold your own.
And she did. Over and over. Caitlin didn't beg for attention. She demanded competition. She didn't want to stand out. She wanted to belong, even if that meant getting shoved, dunked on, or sent home with bruises. Because in the Clark household, pressure wasn't something you avoided. It was something you earned. And the only way to prove you were ready for it? Take the hit and ask for the ball again. Most players watch film because their coach told them to. Caitlin Clark watches because she can't stop thinking about the play she missed, or the one she knows is coming next. She doesn't study tape out of obligation. She studies like it's instinct, like her brain refuses to rest until every angle is accounted for. While her peers are unwinding after practice, Caitlin's pulling up clips of legends, tracking patterns, freezing frames, rewinding possessions just to understand why a certain read worked and how to beat it next time.
So I think just getting a year under my belt was the best thing for me. You understand how the league works, you know what to expect, everything like that. But at the same time, you know, year 2 is going to be still a little different for me from the standpoint of I got a lot of new teammates. I have a new coach, new coaching staff. And so being able to figure them out, how they operate, how they do things, I think will be really important for our whole group. So it's going to take a little time to put together, but I think also having an off season of things that I could really just work on and get better at. I haven't really had that in a couple years now.
That off season wasn't about taking a break. It was a recalibration, a chance to slow the chaos down and zoom in on movement, on spacing, on details. The kind of film grind you don't see on social media, but you always feel when she's reading a trap before it happens and dropping a one-handed dime off a curl. Her obsession didn't start when she got to college or even high school. It started when she was just a kid with a stack of WNBA jerseys and a front row seat to her idols.
Maya Moore was my go-to. It was all the Minnesota Lynx players, Lindsay Whalen, Rebecca Brunson, Maya Moore, Simone Augustus. I was just their biggest fan, so I had all their jerseys. That's what I go with.
Most kids play ball and move on. Caitlin watched. She absorbed. She studied the passes, the cuts, the tempo of a team like Minnesota. Not just the scoring, the system. That's what stuck with her. And even now, Years later, that study never stopped.
I think for myself, growing up, like that was Sue Bird for me. Like Sue was the player that I loved getting to watch. When I went to my first WNBA game, I don't tell Sue this, but I was more so there for the Lynx, but they were playing the Storm at the time. So I got to see her play and the way she passed the ball. And even on the men's side, like I think, Chris Paul and Steve Nash, and you look at players like that. Like I loved the men's game growing up too.
That's the part people miss. The logo threes and heat checks are fun, but what makes her terrifying isn't the range. It's the recall, the vision, the understanding of how to manipulate defenders 2 steps ahead, because she's already seen that rotation 50 times on film. She's not reacting. She's recreating scenarios she already solved in her head. That's why her confidence never wavers. It's not cockiness, it's clarity. It's what happens when you've watched enough possessions to know exactly how the defense will crack and exactly when to take the shot. This is the part of her lifestyle no one celebrates, the part with no camera, no tunnel fit, no post-game mic drop, just a laptop, a notebook, and an obsession with figuring things out. Because while others guess, Caitlin Clark remembers, most elite athletes crave quiet. They visualize silence, breathe through meditation, try to find stillness in the middle of packed arenas and viral scrutiny. Caitlin Clark, she doesn't want silence, she wants the storm. From the outside, her career looks like a non-stop frenzy. The cameras, the hate, the highlight reels, the interviews, the security guards just to walk through a tunnel. But inside that chaos, she's steady. Even when she stepped onto a golf course, a place that's all about calm, etiquette, and rhythm, Caitlin was still composed. Cameras in her face, people watching her every move. And yet, she barely flinched.
It was great to see how relaxed she was. Obviously, with the media attention that she has gotten probably in the past 1.5 to 2 years, you can see how she's comfortable playing in front of a larger crowd.
This isn't accidental. It's not luck. It's muscle memory, the mental kind. Caitlin's entire childhood was built around pressure. Not just the physical kind, but the psychological kind. Games in crowded gyms, intense family competition, film sessions disguised as dinner conversations. She wasn't taught to escape pressure, she was taught to function inside it. And by the time she got to the WNBA, the noise wasn't new. It was fuel. You can see it when she's waving off screens in the 4th quarter. When she hits a logo 3, hears boos and smirks. She's not being cocky, she's being clear. Because that shot, she already made it 200 times that week in practice. She doesn't fight the noise. She lets it surround her and still finds space to operate. Even off the court, the pressure doesn't stop. Social media spirals, players taking cheap shots, coaches, fans, even legends weighing in on her every move. And somehow, through all of it, she stays focused, grounded. Not by avoiding the storm, but by training inside it. That's what separates her. Others look lost. Caitlin looks like she's been here for years. She doesn't need a clean gym to thrive. She doesn't need peace. She needs a shot clock, a crowd, or a challenge, because while everyone else is searching for balance, Caitlin Clark already found hers, right in the middle of the noise. Caitlin Clark is one of the most recognizable athletes in America right now. She's on billboards, breaking attendance records, dropping dimes in prime time while rocking the swoosh of $1 million Nike deal. But if you think she's soaking in the spotlight, you don't know Caitlin. This is someone who can go viral mid-game and then spend the post-game interview in a hoodie that looks like it's been through 100 laundry cycles. Her tunnel fits? Less about flash, more about function. She's not dressing for the cameras, she's dressing to work. She could be chasing cameras. Instead, she's sending DMs. After Iowa football star Cooper DeJean won the Super Bowl, the biggest moment of his life, Caitlin didn't post a tweet. She didn't tag him in a story. She didn't make it public. She just reached out.
I think she was just saying that she was proud of me, congratulating me, that not only that I scored a touchdown, but, winning, the biggest game in football, my first year. So I appreciate her for that, sending that message, even though she's a Chiefs fan.
No press release, no attention grab, just one Hawkeye checking in on another. Quietly. That's Caitlin's version of stardom. Low noise, high impact. She doesn't chase headlines, but she writes her own, one quiet act at a time. She's not the type to film her reaction to being mentioned in a rap lyric. She'll smile, maybe send a thank you, and then go right back to watching the film. She doesn't care if the outfit trends. She cares if the cut works, the lights don't matter, the reps do, fame is loud. Caitlin Clark isn't. Even when she shows up to events like the Super Bowl, surrounded by celebrities and flashing lights, she blends in, by choice. No stylists, no PR storm, just Caitlin, probably in sneakers, with a small circle of people who know the real her. And that's the power. Because when she does speak, people listen. When she does show up, the arena sells out. She's not avoiding the spotlight, she's simply not dependent on it. While others chase attention, she earns it, then walks away from it like it's no big deal. When you think of a superstar athlete, you probably imagine the glam. Red carpets, VIP events, private jets, a schedule full of appearances, not silence. But Caitlin Clark? Her lifestyle looks nothing like that. And that's exactly why it works. She's not clubbing after games. She's watching film. She's not chasing interviews, she's cooking dinner. And when someone once asked her what she'd be doing if she weren't playing basketball, she didn't say fashion, or TV, or even coaching. She said,
So the answer I was looking for was a chef. So I made fudgy brownies this weekend.
What about a meal?
I have a great spicy vodka sauce recipe.
She's talking about a chef.
Yeah, and I'm making broccoli beef tonight.
not broadcaster, not a lawyer, not a public figure, chef. And she wasn't joking. That's the stuff no one posts. That's the Caitlin people don't see. The one who shows up, drops 27 and 10, then goes home and makes cookies from scratch. While other stars hop on TikTok or shoot content, Caitlin's in the kitchen, measuring flour, not followers. Not because she's trying to prove anything, but because she likes it quiet. She likes it simple. Because the truth is, her whole lifestyle is designed around recovery, not reaction. Quiet TV, puzzles, walks, routines that look slow from the outside, but inside, that's the reset. That's the reset that keeps the fire burning through all the noise. She doesn't need distraction. She needs structure. No viral cooking show, no celebrity collaborations, just one of the most dangerous players in the world, eating broccoli beef in sweatpants with her phone on silent. That's not boring. That's balance. So while the world spirals around her and every game becomes an event, Caitlin Clark stays locked in. Because when the highlight reels go dark and the headlines shift, she's still going to be there. In the kitchen, measuring the garlic, and getting ready to drop 30. Caitlin Clark doesn't lead like most stars. There are no fiery speeches, no dramatic huddles, no towel waves after a big play. She leads with control, not chaos, with clarity, not volume. And while most players are still trying to find their voice in the locker room, Caitlin's already fluent in leadership, not because she talks the most, but because she sees the most. When she was sidelined due to injury earlier this season, her role shifted, but her voice didn't disappear. It evolved.
I think just focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing. So you got to still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench. So I try to do that as much as I can for them.
That's what most people miss, leadership. For Caitlin, it isn't about rallying the group with cliches. It's about connecting dots, pointing out what others miss, sharing insights the coaching staff might not even see. Even from the bench, she was breaking down film in real time, communicating with teammates during halftimes, during timeouts, giving tactical reads and small adjustments that changed the flow of the game. She wasn't playing, but she was still quarterbacking. She's not the loudest voice, she's the sharpest. That's why coaches trust her. That's why teammates listen. Because when Caitlin speaks, it's not about hype, it's about answers. And when something goes wrong, she doesn't yell, she points, she adjusts, she moves on. Even her frustration gets filtered into feedback. If a teammate's out of position, Caitlin knows it, and instead of calling them out, she calmly helps them find the read next time down. And maybe the most telling sign of all? When she was injured, what did she say she missed most? Not the lights, not the crowd, practice. That's who she is. So while other leaders hype their team into momentum, Caitlin Clark guides them into it, like a point guard with a playbook wired into her brain. Quiet, efficient, unshakable. Because she doesn't need to raise her voice. She just raises the standard. When you're that good, the league will test you. When you're that loud with your game, they'll test you harder. And when you're Caitlin Clark, they don't just test you, they come for you. From her WNBA debut, defenders have tried to rattle her. Elbows, screens, trash talk, all of it, and the cameras, they love to catch it. They zoom in when she gets knocked down, they slow-mo the missed calls, they frame her as the fragile player under siege. But what they miss is this: she loves it, because every cheap shot, every late bump, every passive-aggressive quote in the media, that's fuel.
she talk junk on the basketball, but what y'all see is real over here.
Yeah.
And they like, well, we finna find out.
And guess what? They find out. This isn't a case of someone getting picked on. This is what happens when you walk into a veteran league, shoot logo threes in your second game, and act like you've been there for 10 years. This is what happens when you carry yourself like a problem and then back it up. That's why it's not just about shutting up the doubters. It's about the numbers, the scoreboard, the impact. She's second in scoring, second in assists, leading in attention, and doing it after missing games. No dramatic interviews, no social media battles. Just a clean box score that screams, "You came for me, I came to win." And let's be clear, this isn't hate. It's respect in disguise. The hard fouls, the tough defense, the extra gear every team brings when she's in the building. That's how stars are treated.
But what I will say is the intensity, the effort, adrenaline, all that goes up when you play Caitlin Clark. You know the numbers is gonna go up, you know the stadium is gonna be full, you know everybody is watching, and you know if you D up Caitlin Clark and you do something good, you're gonna be on TV. So all that goes up.
She's not just playing basketball, she's playing under the zipline cam every night. Everywhere she goes, it's a big game. Every defender guarding her knows they're on national TV. Every arena she enters fills up like it's the playoffs, and while they try to make her flinch, she stays calm, hits that signature step-back three, and lets the net do the talking. Because Caitlin Clark doesn't clap back. She keeps score. She could be anywhere, an award show, a sneaker launch, courtside at a game she's not playing in. But instead, she's here, in an empty gym. No crowd, no coach, no cameras, just the squeak of sneakers, the rhythm of a bounce, and the silence between each shot. And that silence, that's the real Caitlin Clark. This is the part they don't put on posters. The part no tunnel fit or highlight reel can capture. No logo threes, no screaming crowds, just a player alone chasing something no one else can see. It's form shooting. It's reps that don't go viral. It's obsession with the parts that no one claps for. Because while the world talks, she's still working. This is how you build greatness, not in the moments when everyone's watching, but in the ones when no one is. And as the cameras fade and the lights dim, Caitlin Clark stays in motion, still practicing, still perfecting, still getting better, because she knows the truth. Legacy isn't made on game day. It's made when no one's looking. She was never supposed to carry this much. The weight of a league, the pressure of a movement, the microscope of a polarized world, all focused on one 23-year-old with a jump shot. And yet, here she is, still playing, still signing autographs, still showing up for boys, for girls, for every kid who now plans their entire week around a Fever game. This isn't just about basketball anymore. Caitlin Clark has become the flashpoint, the moment the spotlight finally turned toward women's sports and never looked away. Before Caitlin, the WNBA was overlooked, disrespected, dismissed. Now, the merch is flying off shelves, the games are national events, and the fans, they've changed too.
Some of those same guys, or guys like them, are the ones buying the 22 jerseys, wearing them to games, Major, but also to the grocery store and to the gas station. It is now cool to be a WNBA fan, and it is cool to love Caitlin Clark.
That spotlight on Caitlin, it's not just about her. It's shining on the entire league. Players who've waited decades for this kind of attention, now finally getting what they've always deserved. But with that spotlight comes friction. Some say she didn't earn it. Some say she didn't build what she benefits from. Some say she's a savior in a league that never asked for one. But Caitlin doesn't ask for praise. She doesn't run from hard questions. She doesn't flinch when they push her. She doesn't beg to be understood. She just plays. And in the process, she does something no PR campaign ever could. She brings people in. Your mom, who never watched sports, she's watching now. That dad in the crowd with his daughter, he flew across the country for her to see this live. And those young WNBA stars, they're getting cameras, endorsements, and chants they never used to hear. Because Caitlin Clark might be the headline, but she's never been the whole story. She's just the spark. The one who showed up when women's sports needed her most and made it impossible to look away ever again. They told you she was just a shooter. They showed you logo threes, trash talk, and viral moments, clips that rack up millions of views but never tell the full story. They said she was the future of women's basketball, without ever showing you what her present actually looks like. Because Caitlin Clark's story, it's not about flash, it's not about fame, it's about focus. The version of Caitlin the world obsesses over, the record breaker, the game changer, the superstar, is built on something the cameras almost never catch. It's built on the quiet, the 5 a.m. film sessions, the boring breakfasts, the puzzle nights, the missed parties, the workouts when no one's looking. That's the real lifestyle. And that's why coaches trust her. That's why teammates follow her. That's why opponents respect her, even when they won't admit it. Because Caitlin Clark didn't blow up overnight. She built this, day by day, shot by shot, game by game. And while everyone else is trying to brand themselves, sell themselves, market themselves, she's still doing what she's always done. Waking up, going to work, studying the game, and making sure the next shot is better than the last. So the next time someone says Caitlin Clark is everywhere, remember, that didn't happen by accident. It happened because she was nowhere first. Nowhere but the gym. Nowhere but the film room. Nowhere but inside her own mind, sharpening the edges. And if you still think this is all about attention, you missed the point. Because Caitlin Clark's lifestyle, it's not built to be seen. It's built to last.